Terrell mentioned yesterday again about how he and Jordan had a pact that they would hold each other accountable. So taking out obviously what happened on the practice field in August with them, what have you seen from them to reflect that? Have you seen them get in each other's faces? Obviously, it's done out of love. They have a good relationship. But have you seen much of that over the last few weeks where they yell at each other or something like that?
No. I think they, I know I used the same analogy before as, two brothers. And I think also what gets lost in the shuffle too when did we sign Tyrell last year? Week 9, whenever that was, So, I think now they're like, instead of brothers, they're like an old married couple. They know each other. They know how to push each other's buttons. But it's all out of, absolute 1,000% respect. And I think they respect each other's game. I think they know each other now after playing half a season together last year and then, 14 weeks now. I think they really know each other to another level at this point. So it's a cool relationship. It really is.
When you brought in Jordan last year, did you foresee him having this type of season? And just kind of along those same lines, was there a moment, maybe in OTAs and training camp, where he kind of like either communicated to you or showed something on the field where you were like, okay, I think this is going to be one of those seasons for him?
Well, I think at some point with you guys, I've told this story. When I was the assistant head coach at the Rams when he came out, and we were taking Jordan Brooks. We didn't have a first round draft pick that year. We were taking him with our second pick. It was like done. And I can't remember what we had. We had picked 50 something, and he went 27 to not only did he get drafted, he went to a division opponent. He went to Seattle. So I was heartbroken because you as a coach in the draft, you fall in love with players and you're like, oh my God, this guy's going to be awesome. This is what he's going to do. I love his skill set. I did a ton of work on him. And I do remember. I remember. I don't know if he remembers, but I told him that our first meeting here when he came here. That however many years later, it's cool that we get to work together. So, no, to answer your original question, surprised? Not at all. I've always thought the world of Jordan and loved his game. And the thing now, 2 years with him, the thing I have really grown to love about him is just the way he prepares, how detailed he is, and probably the thing I'm most proud of is he's become, I don't think the first 6 months Jordan was here, he talked, and now he's the voice of our team, really. He is, we have a bunch of great leaders on this team, but he's one of them. And I think that's the thing that I think is cool, that he's always been a heck of a player. I think he's become an elite player, and I think he's become an elite leader. That's the thing that I'm most proud of.
Along those same lines, T-Dot's improvement from the beginning of the season till now, what's impressed you? What have you seen from him on the field?
Yeah, same thing. T was a guy that as coach, you always know these guys because of the work that we do, in the draft, and then players go all over the place. So I've always respected his game and really appreciated that. So when we had the chance to get him last year, obviously we jumped on it. It was great, and I think T is a incredibly instinctual player. He has a great feel for the game, and I think just it's been great. The more and more he plays, the more comfortable he gets, and also he leads in a pretty unique way. Also, he's in a position where he's the voice piece of our defense. He's in front of the huddle. He talks to them every play. So it's really been neat to see him really take ownership in that role and flourish.
From that standpoint, how proud were you of him? That 2-point conversion when the radio communication goes down.
Yeah.
He called his defense to
Yeah.
lead to what ended up being a pick 2.
Yeah, that's something people don't realize, or maybe I know sometimes you take for granted the coach to player communication. I know I definitely, when I was calling defenses, you don't realize how important that is until it goes out, right? Even if it's something as common as, once the play clock goes down, the communication shuts off. But they're randomly, it doesn't happen every game, but there's times where it just simply, the communication goes out. And that just goes to show you, his attention to detail in the game plan. He didn't hear the communication went out. He did not hear Weave's call, and he knew from a game plan standpoint, he went to a call that we had in the game plan. And you talk from a situational standpoint, that was a pretty big call. It was a 2-point play, and those are things that we game plan and we talk about and we have planned out. But the communication went out. He knew right away what to go to, and ended up being a huge play for us and Minka.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alan, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you, and I don't recall us asking you last year before you played the Jets, but you spent 2 years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Wanted to get your thoughts on what you learned about him during that time and your thoughts on facing him.
Yeah, got the absolute utmost respect for him as a player, as a man. I cherished the 2 years that I had with him. Learned a ton of ball from him, and got me and my family have a special relationship with him. I think the world of him, and I remember I told Mike T all those things when that process was going on, when they were courting him. I think the world of him. I really do. I mean, he's I know there's different opinions of him out there, but the 2 years I spent with him was special. Learned like I said, learned a ton of football from him.
Thoughts on his game these days?
Oh, I still think, when you look at, he's 42 years old, but you would never, the way the zip he has on the ball, you would never know. I mean, he has not lost anything from an arm strength standpoint. And the thing I think I respect even more than Aaron's just raw, freakish skills, his traits as a quarterback, the way he plays the game within the game. He does such a great job with his cadence, with trying to pick people apart with if you're late with your substitutions, where he'll snap the ball with 12 people on the field, things that he's done his whole career. I think that's where it really gets lost in what makes him a first ballot Hall of Famer.
How much do you enjoy the name chants that guys on defense are doing on the sideline? The name chant, clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
Which I think
It's great.
that might have been started by JB and
Yeah.
T-Dot.
JB and T-Dot started it just as something like when guys would stand in the defensive meeting room as guys were walking into the meeting, they would like announce every person that walked in. And then it kind of morphed into when guys would make a big splash play on the sideline. But that's what it's all about, the special defenses that I've been a part of. They have a certain, I call it, they're connected, and that's just another thing, another long line of ways that this group is really connected with each other, and it's they have unbelievable morale with each other.
Joe, as a guy who's been a coordinator, obviously, for a number of years, what position do you think has to have players whose skills complement each other? Safety, inside linebacker cited some. And if it's important to you at inside linebacker, how do Jordan and Terrell's skills complement each other?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think of course there's certain traits that go along with every position, and certain traits that you must have based on what system of defense that you run. I think the coolest thing that those two have specifically is they really play off each other really well. Jordan absolutely is, he can do anything, but Jordan just wants to go out and play. Jordan wants to hear the call and just go play football and tackle people. And Terrell, the way he is built, really allows JB to do that, because Terrell handles the call, he handles the communication, he handles the checks. So those traits that each of them possess really play well off each other, because it allows them to go be the best version of themselves.